Shirlyne, welcome to the Space Plus podcast.
Hi, Angelica. I'm happy to be here. How are you?
I'm good. I'm happy to have you here. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm ready for the spring semester. It's really cold in Ithaca, but all's well. Yeah.
How many degrees?
-10 degrees.
Ooh, I think ours is like -4, then it feels like -9.
No, ours is -10. It feels like
Then it,
-17. They
oh no!
issued a weather advisory, actually. They told us that 30 minutes of exposure could lead to like frostbite.
Oh!
All that stuff. They told us to really dress warmly, but yeah, it's that bad. But I think it's just this week. It should go back to normal -5.
Normal negative. Oh yeah, let's just go back to normal.
Yeah, it's because like I'm looking at the weather app and it's -19. Oh well.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't apply to Cornell. I knew I would die over there if I'm struggling over here.
No, please. It's beautiful. Come to Cornell.
I was like, it's going to be like the winters are going to be bad.
No, it's actually going to be bad. Like I knew it was bad when I couldn't even walk short distances. Like the dining hall is right next to my dorm, and that walk was it was terrible. I was like, so I need like a scarf over my face because I felt like my face was freezing as well.
Oh no.
It is actually bad for real. Wow. But
So like how are you adjusting to that now that you're from Kenya? How is the weather like in Kenya?
the weather in Kenya, like I would never complain about the weather. You know, I was sweaty, I was hot the entire time. Like it was December, it was getting to 30 degrees. I was like, yeah, and it's actually really hot. And then I come here and I'm like, no, I actually prefer the heat.
Take me
Like
back.
I was complaining a bit, but now I actually prefer the heat because walking outside is it's a struggle. But the scarf over my face and the jackets and the boots and the cold, and I didn't even renew my bus pass. So I am done for, but we'll survive.
My mom, when I talk to her and she's like, it's cold, and I'm asking her like, how many degrees are you talking about? And she tells me like it's 20 something degrees, and I'm like, Mom, you don't know.
Please, like my mom was shouting at my sister, "Where are the socks? Where are the socks? Wear your jacket right now. It's so cold, and I'm like, yeah, trust me, it's not. I would love
It's not.
every single day. Yeah.
Yeah, like before I came here, there was this one time in August, because like August was a rainy season in Eldoret, and it rained and it was raining, and it was like 14 degrees Celsius, and I fell sick. Like I was sick because of the cold, and it was like 14 degrees. And then I get here, then like the weather just kept on, going lower and lower and lower. Then there was a time like I was getting used to it every single time. And then there was a time like it was 10 degrees, and I was grateful that it was 10 degrees. I was like, oh my days, who am I?
I am grateful with temperatures above zero because now I'm like manageable. I can walk. Like I am actually grateful of above zero temperatures. But in Kenya, I would not have survived. I would not. Yeah, I remember high school with the fleece jackets and the scarves and walking to class feeling like it's so cold. It isn't. It wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah, I can only imagine like right now when I go back to Kenya how I will feel, because damn, like literally I borrowed a space heater, and I'm like, getting heat from the space heater right now because that's the only way I can get heat. Like I have my heated blanket on, the real heater is on, the space heater is on, and I'm still feeling cold. It's that bad. And I'm not even in Cornell.
And you're not in Cornell, but I actually had to buy a space heater for real. I was not going to survive without a space heater. It's always on almost. It's permanently on because I'm old. And I like when I'm coming from outside, I'm finding my room toasty. I don't want to start again trying to make it warmer. So I leave the heater on. I know we're supposed to do that. But I leave the heater on because I want to come back and then, it's warm.
Yeah. Yeah, me too, because my sister, when she came here, she was like, this room is stuffy. Yeah, it's stuffy. You either get the stuffiness or you get the cold. So you have to choose a struggle.
Choose one.
This one struggle. We're not going to die. You have to make it work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Shirlyne, what is the definition of quality education?
Let's see. Quality education is being able to see what you're learning in real life applications. Quality education is having all the resources at your disposal, like, to actually learn and benefit and grow as well. So yeah, I think that is what I term quality education as.
I feel like, it is like making it practical in the real world, right?
Exactly. I need to see what it is I'm learning. Like, yeah, that is what quality education for me is. Because I don't know, like in Cornell, for example, like I do a statics class, and then we're in the lab, and we actually um working with an actual forklift machine, and
What is
get
a forklift machine?
so. Jalika, I'm a civil engineering student, by the way. I'm in my second year, second semester. So last semester I took this class called Statics and Mechanics, and of solids basically. So balancing weights and all that stuff. So basically, a forklift is what carries very heavy weights. It's like, I don't know if you've seen a tractor, but then it's more of like a tractor that carries things, not a tractor that digs. That's the closest I'm coming to explaining what a forklift is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was a homework question, and it was a potential exam question, and basically what you are learning in class is what you're expecting to see in the real world, and what you're expecting to see in the exam as well. So everything is, needed and interconnected and all that, and I think that's what quality education is. Yeah.
All right. And how can you compare that to your experience in Moi Girls Eldridge?
Compare this to my experience in Moi Girls. Yeah, there's definitely that aspect of just cramming things, or like just mastering how it is. Like here now, I even see like classmates of mine asking, wait, but I don't understand, why is this possible? And in my head, I feel like I still have maybe my high school mentality where I'm like, just take it as it is. You've been told this is how the question is done. Why are you questioning the steps? Like like I find myself thinking the same way I used to think in high school, like this is how a question should be done, period. But now there's that whole aspect of like questioning steps, trying to really understand underlying concepts. And that's actually what makes engineering interesting for me. So yeah.
And I don't know, because here, that was the same aspect for me, because there was this one time, like in my literature humanities class, this class where we read a lot of like classical text. And I go to office hours and I ask my professor, where can I get like sample past papers where I can like read how to write a good argumentative essay. And he's like, oh, a good argument is just like amazing, you just like see it from the get-go. And I'm like, bro,
I,
I
I
need
need to
the
know.
resources.
Yeah, I need to know the formula
I need to know
to
the formula.
a good argumentative essay. I get that. I get that from
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, because in high school it was, they gave us like the structure and they gave us like samples, and like, okay, you could see from that and just like gauge, what you're supposed to do and just like apply it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah,
So
but I was able to learn, just like progressively, that okay, so I'm supposed to first of all be original and find my own inspiration, look for people myself and see people that I like, the way they write, and be able to incorporate that in my own writing, and also be able to like bring a new aspect of writing that it maybe has never been seen before. That apparently is what makes a good paper.
I had the same issue as well in the beginning, where after learning something and then I'm going to office hours and I'm like, so how will this be tested? How will this be tested in the exam? And they're like, it may be tested, it may not be tested. It actually builds up to this other concept, so really this one thing can't be tested individually. And I'm like, oh, okay. So everything, they actually teach what makes up what will eventually be tested. And yeah, I get that. I'm always seeing the differences like between my high school And now based on that, yeah.
And how can you compare now the experience that you've gotten in Cornell and that in JQuat? The short experience you got in JQuat.
So I attended JQuat for a semester, and within that semester, like the first 1 month, classes are bouncing. You come into class and then the professor said read this, or the professor just doesn't show up. I think there's only one consistent professor, but like to me, I felt like, yeah, this is why I need to leave this place, because there's no way I'm coming, sitting down, and then the professor just doesn't show up. But in Cornell, if the professor doesn't show up, it was communicated in advance. He even recorded a Zoom. The professor recorded a Zoom recording from their home and said, "Watch this during class or during whatever time." Like there's like measures to see that your education is like fully catered for throughout, and I think we are lucky in that aspect. Same thing, we have the professors, the TAs, and so much resources at our disposal. So it's just us to like make use of it, that I feel wasn't really there in JQuat. Like, we're sitting down and then now we're learning something for ourselves. It's just told this is where the exam will get to. Go prepare for the exam. And I think, okay, that's definitely that there's some skills, maybe some lessons you gain from that. But I also appreciate the fact that we are really, help pushed. Everything is there to help us, and that's another way we've definitely been lucky. And yeah.
Yeah, like my friend who was in UN med school before she came here, and she was saying how like in a single week they had to like learn every single aspect of the human leg, the anatomy of it, the muscles, and it was just like very voluminous. And in as much as like people talk about how like the Ivy League education is like very, the workload is heavy and you have a lot to do, I don't think I can really compare that to even high school in Kenya. I feel like over here I am, I'm more free, have less workload. And I don't know, is that experience the same for you? Do you feel like the workload over here is balanced as compared to that in Kenya?
For me, I feel like there's definitely a lot of workload, but the thing is that it is well. Let me actually say balance. Let me still use your word, because there's the lecture, there's the homework, there's a discussion section. So as much as, yes, there's a lot of work to cover, you're all moving at the same pace. You're well taken care of at each step. There's the lab component, for example, for a physics class, and you'll go do the lab, all of you together. So yes, that's significant chunk, coming back, writing the report and all that, but it's still manageable in the sense that you can see what's needed. There was a syllabus at the beginning, like there was that option to really see what you're getting yourself into and to really organize your semester as needed. There's the whole chart where okay, I have an exam at this time, I have a quiz at this time, this is when the first like homework or deliverable is due. So it's very well structured and well planned, taken care of. Such that as much as the work is a lot, it's manageable at the end. Yeah, there's a lot
And
of support. Yeah.
yeah, and in Kenya, there's this thing of once you start the semester, the memes of I've just seen the like courses in the portal and I'm shocked. But for us over here, we have to like I don't know if it's the same for like engineering students because like engineering we see the memes of engineering folks, so it could be different. But um in Kenya, like you already have like the units that are going to do already like set for you. All you have to do is like check in the portal, know the classes you're supposed to take and take them. But over here, I have to like manually look for the classes I want to take. So
Yeah.
how could you compare the two in your, perspective?
And again, we're lucky in that way, because now, for example, last semester I had 9 a.m. classes, and I was like, I'm not doing another 9 a.m. class because I was just unable to wake up to get to these classes. And this semester, all my classes start at 11, so I'm the one who planned my schedule. I was like, okay, this class can be taken at this time, and these are the classes that I'm going to take. I just have this credit limit, so let me see which classes I'm taking to get to this number of required credits. Yeah, and again, you've read the syllabus, you know what the course entailed. So you're not really like told these are your classes, these are your 8 classes. Yeah, 4, 5, yes, heavy, but really classes that you're like mentally prepared for, and that's a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, because like tomorrow I actually have an 8 a.m. class. And I remember last semester I had a 10-10 class, but because I'm a freshman, so I was pre-registered for that class. And every single time I used to wake up at like 9 a.m., I used to sit on my bed and just contemplate about the philosophy of life, because it was so hard waking up at like before 10 a.m. And then now tomorrow now there's this one class that is really interesting. It's only like one professor who offers the class, and it's an 8 a.m. class. So I'm thinking like, should I go to the class and just like struggle through it? Should I just struggle to wake up throughout the semester, or should I like drop it?
And you have that
Yeah.
option.
And I
So
have that option, so
yeah,
that's the good thing. Yeah.
exactly.
And like apart from that, all the other classes that I've registered for are like past 11 p.m. because the struggle that I had like last semester was so hard. I remember this one time I had a 12 p.m. discussion on Friday, and like on Fridays we don't have classes. I don't know if it's the same in Cornell. Do you have classes on Fridays?
That's a Columbia thing.
That's a Columbia thing. Oh, okay.
Anytime I hear you guys talking about not having Friday classes, I'm like, okay, I guess they catered like the city life. Like, go explore. Yeah, anyway, continue.
Yeah. So I registered for discussion on Friday because I'm like, I need to challenge myself. Just to make like Friday work, I should be like put together. Then one Friday, I wake up at like 11. The discussion starts at 12, and I'm like, I'm not going to do this. I can't kill myself. And I woke up, sent the email to my TA saying that I can't do this anymore. I've switched my discussion to another discussion section on Monday. So yeah, in that light of flexibility, I really like enjoy the fact that I can be very flexible in my classes and choose whatever I want, and not have to struggle.
Exactly. That's so. 12 p.m. class. I think on Friday, I have a class that ends at 4 p.m. So I hear people talking about how they try to keep their Fridays open, but mine, it was either keep it open or wake up early. Choose.
Gotta pick a struggle.
Struggle, please. And I was like, I'm not having a class that's before 11, so that's what I'll go with. Yeah.
So how has life been so far in Cornell?
Life's been really good. Last semester I was able to like join actually 2 things. I was able to join a research group. That was basically like the biological and environmental engineering side. And then I joined a project team that's more civil, and I actually got the opportunity to travel to Eswatini this summer. We're going to build a suspension bridge, and your girl here is the quality control engineer.
Ooh, girl slay!
Telling you as well as a cultural relations manager. So it's going to be a hectic semester because now I have to take the project team for credit. So like in addition to like the maximum credits, I have to petition for those extra, which of course they'll give me because it's needed. But now I'm about to have a very busy semester. Again, the research still, it's very computational as well. But I think it's good experience to see if grad school is the route I want to go through. But so far I don't think I want to do grad school. I don't think I want to commit to like 5 years of research, but who knows? I'll see where this research thing goes. Yeah, but like the project team is really it's been a good experience. Yeah. And I think it will also be a better experience when I actually go there and actually build a bridge, like see a bridge from the beginning to the end and see it serve a community. I think that's a great opportunity, and I'm happy that I was here to like get that opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember there was actually, first of all, the memes of people complaining, math is not going to take me anywhere. Like who uses the math? And people are like, the people who build the bridges are the ones who use the math.
Like we have entire spreadsheet, right, that has like the design, the calculations, and the factors of safety, and we are actually using SOHCAHTOA and and all those designs and parabolas and how low, how what height is it expected to like dip and all that stuff. And I'm like, yeah, this is math. This is the math we were talking about. This is the math that we said you wouldn't use.
Uh-huh.
Like I remember the meme. I remember the meme. I'm out of school and I've not needed a use for SOHCAHTOA, and I'm like, yep, I am using it. In fact, it's advanced. It's built upon. But yeah, I'm excited to see where this whole civil engineering journey takes me. Yeah.
And the first thing you talked about had like something dealing with biology, right?
Yes.
So how do you intersect the two?
So when I came to Cornell, I was an environmental engineer, right? Like that's what I applied with. So I was in the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences doing environmental engineering. So up to last semester, I was still torn between moving to civil or sticking to environmental engineering. Again, see, I'm able to choose as late as now.
Yeah.
So to help me pick a side, I applied for like the research lab assistant position for the BE building, the biological environmental engineering building. And yeah, so basically I was collecting like samples like of like xylem sap and trying to detect the presence of surfactants and basically like tree resilience, like in the presence of like temperature or like cold. Again, the climate is changing, so like how can we make trees more resilient to like these climate changes, right? So that is something that really interested me about environmental engineering. Like we're actually doing something that impacts the environment. Again, going the research route, able to cater to like a changing world. So that's how I was torn for like the longest time. But at the same time, I joined the project team, right? And the project team basically they do both WASH programs and build bridges in underrepresented communities in the world. And that was Eswatini, and you're building a bridge, and I was like, this has impact too, like creating resilient structures again has an impact. And so now it was up to me to see what was interesting and what I preferred to do, and that ended up being civil. And yeah, I still going to concentrate within the environment as well, like see the same thing, resilient buildings, resilient structures that withstand this change in climate that is actually inevitable at this point. And yeah, I'm glad I had the opportunity to be able to choose and decide, and that was good. Yeah.
And now, apart from the academic extracurricular things that you are involved in, you're also involved in Baraka kwa Wimbo. So could you please walk us through that?
Yes. So Baraka kwa Wimbo, that was it was so funny. A friend of mine was part of the group, and I asked her, "Wait, where are you going?" And she's like, "My capella group has a meeting." And I'm like, "What's the name of that capella group?" And then she's like, "Baraka." I'm like, "Baraka, yeah, Baraka kwa Wimbo, Baraka kwa Wimbo." I was like, "Man, it's like that's Swahili," and I think that just like piqued, like just piqued my interest, and I was like, you know what, I am going to audition the next time they're holding, they're holding tryouts or whatever. And I did, and I joined, and it's an all-female gospel a cappella group. So through it, I've made good friends. I have had fun. I have laughed, and I don't know, they're just a good support. Being supported by like fellow women, that's like such an amazing thing. And it's been good. We perform at most Black events within campus, right? And so we're always like dressing up, they'll wake up, and I know our social sister would child be like, I'm thinking emerald green. I'm thinking, and then now we have to like get a dress and wear it and get ready. And I think I think I like dressing up and showing up and singing as well. So it's been a good extracurricular for me. Yeah.
And what about the Cornell scenery in general? Because it has a lot of gorgeous, a lot of natural stuff.
Cornell is beautiful. I give you that. Like, it's huge. Like, there's a class last semester that is an actual 25 to 30-minute walk away from my dorm, and it's pretty. You'll pass the first football field, the second football field before you get to that class. You will cross two gorges, and
That
and
is a field trip.
it actually feels nice, like especially when like the weather is good and like there's flower, like let me say late fall, like before the cold starts setting in, the leaves are like red and different colors, and then you're just walking through either the ag quad or like the art squad, and it's very, very beautiful, very scenic. It's tiring to walk through, but it is very beautiful, very scenic as well. Even when it snows, we have like a huge slope that separates like the west campus from like north and central and the other compass directions. um and I went sledding last winter, and that was so fun. Like, I was falling in the snow and it was sledding, and then you tumble. And like that experience was really nice. Like, I was cold and wet afterwards, but it was good fun. Yeah.
So, is that the same as like slope day? Because I know Cornell has like slope day.
So slope day is called slope day because it happens in the same slope. But like slope day is like the last day of class. So right before study week and exam week. So we have slope days. So like the student body gets to like vote on an artist who comes, performs. So it's an entire day of like, having fun with your friends and yeah, seeing a famous artist perform last spring. It was Florida and Boogie with Dahudi, and then of course special performances from like school affiliated performance groups, and that was really fun. It was really fun. I was so tired. I think I slept at 5 p.m. because everyone was up by like 6 a.m. You wake up at 6 a.m., go meet with people, get ready and everything. And then now start the whole slope day activities. We even do barbecue before slope day. They just meet up and eat food and then now go to slope day. So it's like a very good tradition that just eases away that like exam semester stress. Yeah, and just prepares you to like go into final season and just get out. Yeah.
Yeah, I really love like how people embrace traditions over here. So in Colombia, we have like this tree lighting tradition where when it gets to winter, it's dark like at 4 p.m. and
Mm-hmm.
we have like this thing where like the trees light up. And the first day
Mm-hmm.
that the trees light up is just like a huge event where people gather up in college walk and they just like wait and count down till the trees light up. And it's very fascinating because like when you're in a class, the professor will be like, "Oh wait, if you want to go to tree lighting, you can just like get out, 15 minutes before class." Because like they are cool with that, they know that this is a great event. And I just love like how everyone, comes together and they embrace this whole thing. Just fascinating.
The same. Remember the what? What is it called? The eclipse as
Yeah.
well.
Okay, I
Like
wasn't here during the eclipse though.
oh, oops! But like yeah, it was in the middle of like a school day, but they actually said class is cancelled. Go watch the eclipse. Like why are y'all so chill like that? Like that's
If you were Kenya, there would have been this math teacher who would be like, "Get out at your own risk. Let's see what's important: math,
Mm,
or your life, or an eclipse."
exactly. Choose wisely. But it's not an option. There's no choice. Stay in
Yeah.
class. Exactly.
I'm wondering, like, if we had snow in Kenya and, like, we had the math teacher, so, like, would the math teacher be walking, like, through the snowstorm or something?
You've seen the memes? It's flooding the mountain, holding the
Swimming.
stuff above the head and walking. Oh, yeah. But like, yeah, I appreciate the whole like tradition thing and people and things that seem small being like put, priority and all that stuff. So I genuinely appreciate that. Yeah.
What's your favorite tradition in Cornell?
Huh. What's my favorite of it? I think I had so much fun during Slope Day. Let's see what other traditions. I liked the first day because it snows a lot in Ithaca. I like the snowball fights and like making those snowmen and the tiny ducks and for getting creative with it and writing words of encouragement in the snow. Like that happened before it gets this cold. And that's something that's like really exciting to me. Like I remember the first time I saw the snow, I was actually excited. Like I was like, I was feeling so nice. Like I was like, I think I wanted like the snow to like touch my face and everything. And I had a friend of mine who had like told that I hadn't like seen snow before, and then he called and he was like, "Shirlyne, it's snowing," and I'm like, "Yes, I see it." So that was definitely like a very special thing, as well as now people like throwing the snowballs and the snowmen and the words of encouragement in the snow. I like slope day. I like sledding. What other traditions exist in Cornell? I'm not sure. Ah, yes, hiking. Hiking. We have like there's another gorge just outside school called Cascadilla Gorges, and that's one is like hiker friendly, right? So people like hike to the bottom, come back up, and it has several waterfalls all through the route, and it's just like literally outside school. Like you don't get to like walk far, and I really like that.
I
Yeah.
also remember the first time I saw snow, it was like very magical. I actually woke up at 8 a.m. Just like waking up. I don't know, I just woke up accidentally because I never wake up at 8 a.m. And then I just like, opened the window and like, it's snow. I called my
Yeah,
whole family. It was a whole conference call where like everyone was involved. Like you guys have to see the snow. So yeah, it was
exactly.
just an amazing adventure. And I touched the snow, I realized, oh wait, you can't touch the snow like with the bare hands because like it's too cold. So yeah, it
And
was.
the funny thing was that the first time it snowed in Ithaca, like the first time I also saw snow, it was during parents' weekend, and like my parents had also come, so they also got to see snow as well. Because it happened to snow the weekend they arrived. And the funny thing was that after they left, it didn't snow for a really long time until like December again. So I was like, okay, it's like the snow waited for their arrival, snows, and then
You're the main character. That's what the universe tried to say.
yeah, so it was really nice. It was really nice, and they were so happy. I remember they were also looking around, and then they were like, "Yeah, this is such a blessing for you to be able to go here." Like I remember they were taking pictures in like every single building in Cornell. I tell them I have a class here. You shouldn't have said that because it'd be like, "Yeah, take a picture next to this poster," take a picture next to this. I think we went to watch a soccer game that was happening as well in Cornell with them. And that was like it really opened my eyes as to it's such a good thing to be here. And yeah.
And what are the shifts that you've been able to see, maybe in culture or just like the way people behave since you got to Cornell and you realize, oh wait, this maybe is something that Kenyans do that is not normal, or it's like something that you've normalized and it's not normal over here, or something in the US that people have normalized and it's not normal in Kenya.
Yeah, it's definitely the whole talking about nothing. Like
Talking
like
about that.
the small talk. Like I think for a while I didn't imagine that people could like discuss the lights or discuss, like, discuss a plate of food, discuss, like, I don't know. I feel like in Kenya it's there's a lot of like very meaningful talk or gossip or whatever. But here we'd find ourselves, comparing chargers, comparing supermarkets, and I'm like, by the time I got used to like the small talk and seeing, okay, maybe that's a way you get to like relate to people. But the whole talking about nothing was definitely a thing. Like, yeah, like, what do you mean you're discussing lights? You know, yeah, my room has this one, my room has that one. When you do this, this happens, this is how you can, I was like, are we being serious? Like, for like a short time, I was like, yeah, is it because maybe we have nothing to talk about? But yeah, other than that, I think there's also an aspect of still feeling like you don't maybe kind of fit in with certain groups. Uh, like, or maybe feeling like, yeah, I have nothing to contribute to like this conversation that like goes on, like certain maybe clubs, organizations, or whatever, but you're there because you're there to make connections. So you try, but still there's definitely that aspect of not fitting in, but it's fine. It's fine. We're navigating through it one small talk at a time. And yeah.
Now, I remember when you talked about like people talking about lights, I think I would definitely fit in that aspect, because I remember this one time I was with a friend and we were also like having this singing thing, this choir thing during like Christmas season. So
Mm-hmm.
like we were in the chapel, and the chapel has like chandeliers, and we
Mm-hmm.
just got like had this hypothetical conversation on what if the chandeliers fell and like the goblins came to life. And yeah, I was invested in that conversation. I was ready like to pull off my plans and my boards to just show how I would capture the goblin and like And then my friend is like, wait, why is it that when she's with me, like we have to talk about those hypothetical things? And maybe that's just me. I don't know. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, on not fitting in, I remember when you came here and you were playing cards and you were like, so like when you're in cardie and you're playing with like your American friends, what are you supposed to say?
No, for real, that's a very genuine question. Pico Cardi, oh, I
Yeah, and there are a lot of things that, when you talk to like non-Kenyan or non-African people, like they will not, immediately like get it. And I remember first of all, I was talking to like my Cameroonian friend, and she said something of like my friend, and it was like literally my friend is a threat, like when you tell someone my friend, that is not like you're not being their friend. That is like when you start a statement with that is not being friendly. Yeah, and she got that aspect. And I feel like if I talked to like an American person, they wouldn't get that aspect. But that said, that said, I feel like when I compare like this experience to the one that I had in high school, for example. Now let me like start with primary school. In primary school and here in uni, there's an element of being sarcastic, like saying something and just saying, I'm kidding, bro. In high school, you couldn't like be sarcastic because like people would take it seriously.
Yeah,
So I've
yeah.
realized over here it's like they're taking me back to primary school. Or like we could be sarcastic and someone could get that you're being sarcastic, or you'd say a lie and say, no, I'm kidding, bro. What are you saying? So there's that aspect of like someone just being sarcastic, which was not present in high school. So yeah, there are two, paradigms where they don't get this other aspect of like maybe a way in which you exclaim. You cannot just say ayayayaya with a, like
I always find myself doing that. Wow, Jamin. Like, I didn't know where that came from. But every time something weird happens, I'm like, and or I also find myself translating statements. Like, I'm usually that person when you tell me something fine, I'll be like, where? And then I find myself saying, you! And then one time my friend had me talking to like my American friend, and then he was like, you used two, but maybe she didn't get that. Because I'm always like, these two small things, these two. And I was like, wait, I used it. Yeah, you were telling her about the two girls in your class. And I think she was like, two girls. I was like, two girls, those are like, and yeah, I was like, oh. And then I came to realize, like, there's a friend of mine who would even repeat what I'm saying, and they'd be like, wait, what does that mean? And I'll be like, oh, so I'm still unconsciously incorporating Swahili or translating sometimes things in my head. And yeah, it's very interesting when you like realize what's happening in real time. Like when I realized the you, I was like, wait, they must be confused because of it. Like, they make a joke and I'm like, you. But it's like, where? Like, leave. Talk about it. You leave. Yeah, but that.
For me, it is like I usually say ati, like when I say something and I have to be like ati this thing, So I find myself like if I'm like saying a joke and I find myself like saying, ati you did this, something like that, or like exclaiming and saying ghai.
Ghai will not leave me. That one is I'm like ghai. And then somebody was like, is it like exclaiming? Like why do you like hold your head? And I'm like, oh, it's not common. Yeah.
No, I just feel like for us, we just find a way to exclaim things better. Like when you know English, if you don't know another language and you like solely rely on English, I feel like you can't really express yourself in the most maximal way possible, because the only way you can exclaim is like saying "get out" or "no way," and that is just so constrained. Just like all emotions have not come out when you say that.
And be like, nisiziambiwa hivyo wow. I want the jamani, what is wrong? I need that extra.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, it's been actually really fascinating. Another aspect was when I used to talk to people, most especially at the beginning parts of like the semester, they would think I would be asking them a question, and they'd be like, "Yeah," and I'd be like, "No, it's a question. I'm asking you a question." So have you ever experienced such aspects while interacting with people?
That one I agree. Like I'll say something, and they'll be like, "Yes," or they'll laugh if they probably didn't get what I said. And I'm like, no, I was asking you a question. And then she's I'm so sorry. And I'll be like, please, just ask me a second time. And why are you responding yes to a question? You didn't hear what I said at the very beginning.
I feel like they want to, it would be awkward, I guess, to ask someone to repeat the question.
Yeah. There's definitely a difference in the way we structure questions or something. Like I'm like sometimes I'm trying to see like how differently really am I speaking that you couldn't tell what was like a question or no, what was a statement, why are you just laughing? It was nothing to laugh about. At least I don't think so.
I talked about terrorism, bro.
Exactly. I said something and you just laughed. Before anyway. But yeah, I think that's also what like makes us like switch accents sometimes. Like try to speak in a more American thing. But there's always that one word that will like sell you out. That one phrasing that will immediately identify you that you're not definitely not American. But yeah, it's fine.
For me, it's actually crazy because for me, I speak the way, like, if someone is speaking to me in a certain way, I'll speak like them. And it happens so naturally. And I realized that that is something that I got. Like, I had it since I was a kid, because I remember in high school, my desk mate would say something, and I would just like mimic what she says, and she'd be like, "Why are you repeating what I'm saying?" Girl, you need to get checked. So I got here, and I just have the same thing. Like, when someone speaks to me, it's like I'm trying to embody, their personality and try to speak like them. So there's this one time, this like girl, they tell you to like turn to your neighbor and interact on like what they've talked about. And so I'm turning to my neighbor. She had this raspy voice, and she was talking, and we were talking about like 9/11, and she was like, 9/11 was something like this, and I also like start talking like that, and I realized, oh wait, I have a problem.
You did not just tell me somebody's raspy voice. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So
get that. I get that completely. Yeah.
yeah, because again, I've always like been this person who like I have a lot of accents, like I have a lot of accents in my stash. And I remember like in fifth grade of primary school, we had this whole club of like doing accents, and the parents loved it. We presented it during like graduation ceremonies, so it was nice. And yeah, so like when I speak to someone and I know how to do the accent, I'll just like speak in the accent. I'll just find myself speaking in the accent, so it's just like really fascinating. And yeah, I don't know how to like check that. I guess that's just who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll have to deal with it if they have a problem with that, I guess.
No, but the raspy thing, no.
So like, how have you been interacting with professors? Because I know, like for me, some professors cannot like we have now this like I guess language barrier. And when
Mm-hmm.
I ask them a question, they don't like, they don't know that it's a question.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't answer me the way I want them to answer the question. So how have
Mm-hmm.
you been able to like maneuver through that so that you can get what you want?
I think the whole question thing is definitely something I've faced. So it's like I changed that it's obviously a question. So am I supposed to do it like this? Like I'd even find myself really trying to like accentuate my words and be like, so I have a question. Is this how this goes? Because at the end of the day you need to, get what you came for. Because if you start like, I don't know, worrying about them not getting whether it's a question or not. Sometimes it's like, why do I have to change? Maybe the way I speak or them like I structure sentences, for example, but I'll be like, this is a question, so question. Then I'm always like, question. Is this how am I supposed to? And then complete it. So I think I found a way through it, like whether it's speaking like them or just structuring my sentences differently. I think the journey is starting to catch up to me because I feel like every time it gets like 5 p.m. The past couple of days, I'm always yawning, like 4, 5. But I push because I have to. I can't sleep. There's no way I'm sleeping at like 5 p.m. So I'm always like pushing, struggling to like push the time I go to sleep so that it makes sense because I have an 11 a.m. class. So like the latest I should sleep should be like 1 or 2. Yeah.
So like now, how have you been able to like, keep yourself, your mental health to be good amid all of, those things that are going on? Because I remember this is actually from a meme also, like as international students, you're getting into like classes, your professor is already talking about midterms, and I'm recovering from jet lag. I'm still learning how to use courseworks, So like, how have you been able to like juggle everything that you're doing and being able to like keep your mental health nice?
I think doing things in small chunks and just getting adequate rest and taking a rest if you need it. Like just like don't be afraid to let go of that one assignment. It's just one. It will impact maybe a few points at most, and maybe sometimes in the syllabus there's like number of assignments to be dropped and everything. Like don't be afraid to let go of an assignment if you really can't manage it. Like that is something I learned. Like if you need a break, take it. Again, planning works sometimes. Like if like I was looking at like my syllabus, like for the ones that have already been published, and there's a week that I have an exam on like 8th, then I have 13th, then I think I have 15th, meaning that's like Thursday, Tuesday, Thursday again. So it's almost 2 weeks of like exam from like different classes. So I think knowing that way ahead of time means that maybe the previous week I'm prioritizing this amount of work. I know this will be hell week, so I have to be, fully focused and all that stuff. So I think planning yourself, like when the exams are, when the deadlines are, not being afraid to let go of an assignment, asking for help as well. Like there are times when I remember when we were doing like our physics assignment and the deadline was due and no one had finished. And I remember my friends and I split the work. We were like, "You're doing number one, you're doing number three, you're doing number two," like this. And then everyone just go research, come back. And I think we created like it was like an updating good note like page, right? And we all submitted the assignment, but I think we all did like only one question. And that's something that I came to realize, like, use your friends, ask for help, drop that assignment if you know for sure you can't finish it. But again, plan yourself well. If you know the deadline is on this day and you need extra help, go see it, rest, binge watch sometimes, reset. That's something I've really learned is important to do. Otherwise, you'll completely crash. And then also taking care of like your physical health as well. Because again, it's so cold. The whole, take your vitamins, eat properly, take teas and hot water and all that stuff. Because I think my first semester towards finals, I was so sick that I think I was heading to finals and I was literally unable to have like studied for it. Somehow it went well, but I remember being like, yeah, I don't want this to ever happen to me again, because I think I could not even eat. I don't know what case of the flu I had, because I could not eat. My jaw was hurting, my sinuses were blocked, I was coughing, my chest was hurting, I was weak, I was sweaty, and it was snowing. I'm pretty sure I was actually sick. I probably needed to have gone to like the hospital, but then they were like, it's the flu, so it's like fluids and rest. And it lasted all through till like Christmas, and I was like, I probably should have like bought that jacket earlier. I think I was one of the people who was still wearing hoodies when it was snowing. I probably should have bought the jacket earlier. I should have taken care of myself more. Maybe when I was tired, maybe I was just shutting down. Who knows? And yeah, just basic. I learned to really take care of myself, kabisa kabisa. Yeah.
Yeah, and now I guess that would be a segue to like what aspect of yourself have you learned since you transitioned to college in Cornell that you didn't know you had in yourself when you were in Kenya?
I think the whole listening to myself, like listening to my body, like how am I feeling about, people, how am I feeling about a certain, class, a certain topic, how am I feeling health wise, mentally, spiritually, physically, whatever, just like really listening to my body. There's a time when you can like you go to a point I could like tell I feel like I'm getting sick. I'm not like really sick, but I can tell the way I'm feeling, this headache, this I am getting sick. Let me, get some tea, let me, take some painkiller, let me start resting and managing this illness or whatever from this early on. And that really helped. Like I can't say I've gotten as sick as I was the first semester. So the whole listening to myself, if I feel like I'm actually low, I go talk to a friend, hang out with a friend. Sometimes even when I'm feeling tired, but it's not like the tired where I have to sleep, I'll be like on a bus and I go to the movies and I just go, watch something, laugh, come back, same thing, get in my bed with my laptop watch a TV show, and read, and then sleep and reset, and the next day, I'm fully fresh. So the whole just like learning how to like listen to myself. I also got to understood like calling my parents, for example. Let me call them, let me talk to them, let me see what my mom has to say, let me see how my sisters are faring on. And it really helps with the whole, because I feel like sometimes Cornell is very cutthroat, everyone's, the you got to a point you even feel like disabling a discussion because, that they're already discussing next week's homework. You are not able to do this week's homework, and it's like, it gets very stressful. So just the whole, listening to myself has really helped. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I also like overestimate myself where I be like,
Mm-hmm.
I can do this, then I have like 2 hours of sleep. There was this one time I
Mm-hmm.
had 2 hours of sleep actually. I slept at 6 a.m. I had 3 hours of sleep, then I woke up at 9 a.m. And
Mm-hmm.
then like by the time it got to like 9 p.m., because you're going to this like student organization group thing, I was speaking and I had no voice, literally. Like my voice just like, I don't know, it went away. It was like, bye girl, you gotta get
Mm-hmm.
some rest. And I realized, oh wait, so I'm not a machine. I have to like rest and reset because
Yeah.
yeah. So that is actually necessary. But again, on the examination aspect, I really appreciate how the exam is broken down into like several dimensions where you cannot easily fail because we have like participation grades and we have like midterms, finals, the class assignments. Yeah, so how do you view that?
I actually like that. Like my physics, I think, what was it? Discussion grade, just like attending discussion and like doing the whatever the co-ops, like the discussion papers, right? Was a whole 20% of my grade. Um, a midterm, we had like two midterms, and a midterm was 15%. So you can see the discussion even was weighted more. Yes, the final was like 35, but that's like, it makes sense because it's the final, it's supposed to like test most things that you've learned. But I like how there's something to like, lean on sometimes when one prelim didn't go so well. They trust that, you discussed. And again, it was mandatory attendance. So you were there, you did discuss with people. So I like that aspect where it's not all, not all testing your exam taking skills. Sometimes these tests are just like, how well do you take an exam? And it's good. It's good that there's multiple ways to show that you've like had a grasp of the material. Again, we have like, for example, a class will have a lab component. You go, even discuss with the TA, do your report, discuss it with the TA again, then submit it for marking. Like, it's a good thing that is there, and actually helps engage with the material better, other than just cramming, trying to understand it a few days to the exam, putting your knowledge there and then leaving. Getting to discuss, see what this student thinks about this topic. This person thought about it this way, thought about it that way, and then unifying both your ideas, talking to the TA about it. Like, I like that approach to learning, honestly. Because sometimes even when you're tired or you're not feeling like studying, but then people are there discussing, and then you inevitably have to discuss with them. So it is definitely a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is, because first of all, I had a class where we could like it was an open book exam, so you could get into the class with your notes, which was so nice, like the system is designed to make you pass, All you have to
Mm-hmm.
do is like go to hours, ask questions, make sure that you do what they want you to do essentially. And I
Mm-hmm.
just love that aspect, and I feel like that should be, well incorporated into our aspect, into educational systems in Kenya and I don't know other schools in Africa if they don't do that. Yeah. And the last question I usually ask, Shirlyne, is now that you've gotten this whole new dimension of a different type of education, what would you do to improve? What exactly could you improve in the education system in general? Doesn't have to be like in Kenya. What could you improve or change in the education system?
Let's see. I think again there's like the whole reality of the situation, because what exists here, for example, is, private school kind of education, and maybe what exists in Kenya and maybe other places maybe could be, the whole public thing, which is like, state funded. There are many aspects that come into running an institution. I don't know. Better organization of this said institutions could really help, because I think it's not fair that, a strike, for example, renders teachers out of school for months, and then, you push somebody's graduation date. One is not even sure if they're ever going to graduate on time.
See the meme.
Yeah.
The meme of like my university class of 1957. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Yeah, but exactly. So I think, I don't know, better management of this institution, so better leadership, better us, because I think we're the ones who are probably, once we're going to get into these leadership positions later on. So I don't know. I don't know where this sense of responsibility and discipline and self-service is going to come from, but we really need that to manage so many institutions, especially public institutions, such that, it's an equal, fair kind of education that everyone is, getting. So yeah, that is what I'd say I'd change. Better management for real. Yeah.
All right, Shirlyne, thank you for being in the podcast today. It was an honor having you as a guest.
I loved speaking to you as well, Angelica. Hope you have a good day.
Good day too.